Okay, it's 7 o'clock. This is Board of Health meeting for February 3rd, 2022. It's at 7 o'clock and the members in attendance are Sue Braska, who is currently having an issue trying to connect to audio. Mackenzie Kane, who is in attendance, and we also have guests. This meeting is a hybrid. If anybody wants to opt out because this meeting is being recorded, please do so now. So we'll open the meeting by Tom Fitzgerald, our acting health director. And we'll ask for, first of all, a 10-minute public comment. Anybody out there has a public comment, please do so now. Hearing none, I'll ask Mr. Fitzgerald to conduct his report.
Approval of the previous minutes meetings.
At this time, we don't have minutes from the previous meeting, so I will make a motion to table the minutes. Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I will. Mackenzie Kane, I'll second that.
Okay, and again, we're having difficult with Sue Braska, our chairperson, connecting to audio. So the roll call vote will be Jean Nielsen, yes.
Mackenzie Kane, yes.
Mackenzie, you have to unmute yourself.
She did it right. She said it right.
No, she's muted right there.
Sorry, yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask for a deviation in the agenda because our secretary, Jessica Pelly, can only be on for a short while, and we need to discuss the food permits that Jessica has prepared for us. First of all, Jessica did issue a report. And we have some food permit establishments that still have not completed their permitting applications or have issues with getting permits. All retail establishments, food establishments need to have their license renewed by January 1st. It is now February 3rd. And we still do not have all the information, all the funds, or we have issues with establishments that have not paid their taxes. In the event taxes are not paid, the town does not issue permits. So if you'd like to, Mr. Fitzgerald, please start going through the food permit applications.
The ones that owe the Board of Health for the food permits?
All of them, essentially. Not necessarily naming the establishment, but how many and what their issues are. What they're missing.
11 food establishments that owe money, and I think Jessica could probably get a better handle on what they actually owe because she handles that. There are 5 establishments that have not submitted their applications yet.
At all.
It's
Jess?
actually second page is actually 9 that have not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's a lot more than
Second
5.
page, yep. So on January 1st, 2019, the Board of Health passed a regulation regarding fining and penalties for food establishments that have not paid by January 1st, even though they've been notified and they're well aware that they have to pay by that time, and they have not, and they've had over a month to pay and submit their applications and other credentials like allergen awareness, their SerSafe certification to operate a food service. And so these establishments, along with the ones I mentioned earlier, either have one missing, owing us money, the town money, or not having certificates that are needed and necessary for the operation of a food permit establishment.
Okay, Sue, are you able to connect to audio now?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, it's gonna be kind of noisy because we're having a birthday party for my daughter.
Oh, happy birthday.
All right. Where are we at?
Well, we're discussing issuing letters to all the establishments that either have not paid, have not submitted their application in
both.
full,
Mhm.
or have not submitted applications at all.
Jessica, do we have a form letter?
We
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
have some letters that we've used in the past, yeah. And I did actually find one more. It was on my desktop, but the computer was so slow, I couldn't get it to print out before I had to leave. So
Do you, I know Jessica, you're trying to step down a little bit. Do you need me to do any of that, sending the letters out?
it's up to you. If you want to do it, that's perfectly fine by me. If you don't have time, I can do it. However, you just let me know.
I can help
it-
you too, Jess.
What's that?
I can help you as well.
Okay.
If you're able to do it. We can work on it together.
Okay.
Yeah.
and the letters, I have a sample of your letter here from 2018 for establishments that we have not received payments or the applicable paperwork. And according to our regulations, penalties and fines in the case of a delinquent payment for a food established permit renewal within a 7-day period beginning January 1st of each calendar year, the permit holder or his or her agent or person not in compliance with the provisions of these regulations shall receive a fine of $50 per week for each of the first 3 weeks. So already these establishments owe a $150 fine. If payments are not made by the 4th week or by February 1st, which they have not, whatever comes first, then the Board of Health will consider the food establishment as operating without a permit and seek immediate closure. So in my opinion, it's imminent that we get these letters out to these people and take further action as necessary. And I'd like to make a motion to have these letters sent out as soon as possible.
I didn't get to print out the list. So, and I don't know, did you already discuss who were the people that,
It is a matter of
Delinquent.
public record, Sue, but do you want to actually read, you want us to read their names now?
have you already read them?
No,
Not out loud at a meeting, no.
Then let's read them.
Go ahead, Tom.
Westwood River Brewery, Oak and Keg, Walk on Water, Brass Rail, The Bar Shop, Roma, Millie's, Southwick Inn, Sunmart, Sunny's Convenience, Blossoming Acres, Family Dollar,
Establishments that have not even submitted applications include
Southwick Package, Saunders, Cafeteria, Sunflower Smoothie, Dunkin' Donuts, Congamon Pizza, Gristmill Cafe, Kettle Red Deli, Subway Food Establishment.
It's
my
kind of a long list.
Whoa.
Yes, and these people are more than aware because of business practices in the past that permits are required by January 1st.
Right. I can help, but unfortunately, it won't be till next Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh, I can work on it with Jess sooner than that if she can.
Yeah, I mean, the letters going out would be a quick thing anyways, because we already have a letter.
Then I make a suggestion that we also CC the Board of Selectmen and the Select Board, as well as the Michelle Hill and the Treasurer Collector's Office, because if there are payments owed to the town, then other licenses should be held up as well.
Mhm.
Now, Jess, can you possibly do these all at home? Like when we don't have school tomorrow?
Yeah,
Not that it's been announced yet, but if you could do something like that and even send them to town hall where we can print them here.
And I sign them if you want.
And then
yeah,
come-
I don't see why I wouldn't be able to.
Okay. So if you could continue to act as the Board of Health Secretary, it's greatly appreciated.
Yes, it is.
You are welcome. Just let me know what letter you want to use. Let's just fine tune the letter, make sure
Yes.
it's what you want, and then it shouldn't be too difficult to get those out.
So my motion is on the table to issue these letters?
Wait a minute, Gene, I have another question. Gene, when do the liquor licenses when are those awarded for the year?
I believe the select board sends them out at the beginning of the year. But whether they have a check and balance system to find out if liquor establishments have had their other permits issued, I don't know.
I thought we talked about this a couple years ago. Didn't we, that we would kind of like bundle things together? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Not-
one of the letters that we wrote, you do mention the select board and the issuing of the liquor licenses, that they won't be issued if they're food pimp, I believe. If they're
Yeah,
food
but if
permit.
they've already issued them, we can't do anything about that.
Okay, you make a motion, Gene. I second it.
Kenzie, you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, Mackenzie Kane, yes.
Sue
Okay.
Braska, yes.
And Jean Nilsson, yes, that's our roll call vote. Okay, Jess, we'll ask Tom to critique this letter. You can change the dates. And I'm also gonna ask that you send them certified mail.
Jessica, are you able to come in Monday by chance at some point?
Yeah,
Anytime, then we can maybe get together for a few hours and go through this and.
yeah, that
Fine.
shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, sure, great,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.
No, really, thank you, Jess.
Yes.
You're our saving grace at this point.
Oh, she's
You
still
are
Jeff.
welcome.
Yes.
Okay, so if we don't get a response, we don't hear from them, what's our next step?
Well, the fines are gonna keep accruing. And, well, there's a couple things I would probably have the select board talk to the select board about talking to our town council.
Okay, and take it from there.
Yes, get a legal opinion on the next step. But it could involve court, but hopefully they will avoid that.
Yes, hopefully.
Okay, according to the regulations here also, I'm reading, if payments are not received by the 4th week or by February 1st, whichever comes first, then the Board of Health may issue a $50
Right.
per day additional
Right.
fine.
So we got to calculate.
So some of these establishments have already exceeded their $150
Right.
minimum fine
Right.
and are now on a $50 per day fine.
Like operate it. Granted, it wasn't like $7,000, but still, and it's like. I don't
Okay,
think
so Jess and Tom will work on it.
you know, like,
Okay,
any sound.
any other comments or notions about the food permits?
Everyone on the staff, the van warden. And anything
No, I'm fine.
That's why the van warden has
Okay.
changed places so many times.
Mr. Fitzgerald will continue with his report.
You hate it. So then I just like.
I conducted a housing inspection with Kyle Scott building.
Sue, can you mute your
Yeah.
Zoom while you're not talking, please?
Yeah, okay, thanks, Sue.
I did a housing inspection based upon a complaint from several apartments at Federhern Circle at 214 Sheep Pasture Road. It took a little while to determine the actual ownership because it's managed by wayfinders. I did inspections at apartments 9, 16, 19, 20, 27, 35, 37, and 39. Most of the complaints had to do with water leaking on the vents, the exhaust vents over the appliances and 2 in bathrooms. So it seems to be a venting issue. And there was one apartment 9 that had an issue with inadequate heat, according to the occupant. They were using space heaters, which is not allowed under the state sanitary code, except for short-term emergencies. And so I brought it to the attention of the managers. And a woman got back to me that manages the units, and she was not aware of this situation. And actually, she was going out today with her management people and people that do the maintenance on the property. And as far as the unit 9, which I was most concerned with, was the lack of heat. She had indicated that's been a problem that they have spent some monies on, including thermostats, and they had a heating and air conditioning person out there within the last 2 months. And they indicate that the heat is actually working. And it heats up to 72 degrees, but if they want it higher, it's not going to go any higher than 72, which is 68 is required by law. So I think it's possibly that the occupant wants it a little warmer than the heat's able to deliver, but the heating and air conditioning person, which I asked to get a letter certifying that the heating system is actually working properly. So I'm waiting to get that letter, and I will follow up about the water leaking into some of the units. But in no case did I see any water actually leaking. That was all by report. So I haven't issued any actual violation notice yet, because I have to see it before I would issue a violation notice, not just what the tenant is, any tenant is telling me. Not that I necessarily doubt them, but I have to see it with my own eyes before I'm going to swear to it on an enforcement order. So at this point, there are still allegations, but management is looking into it. And when I finally got a hold of them, after trying to find out who the ownership was, they were very quick to get back to me. And it turns out they're owned by a corporation that is a board of directors, 2 of which live in Granville. And I've reached out to a couple of those folks, and they assured me that they would make sure that these issues are taken care of, if they are really problems, as soon as possible. The final inspection, 6 Hummingbird Run, soils evaluations, 83 College Highway, excuse me. Soils evaluation, 46 North Loomis Street. Sign off 83 College Highway, soils evaluation 48 Coles Hill Road. A body art inspection, Beauty in the Brow at Ryan's College Highway,
Professional
right? Professional
Center?
Center, yeah, Ryan's Professional Center.
Are we all set, Tom, are we all set with, or Jean, when you're working on, the permit, what the permit should look like? Or
Yeah,
is that-
yeah.
Yes,
You got that all set?
Gonna
Okay.
just
for
kind
this
of,
body art, for the body art.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I spoke to Jessica about that. We're all set. And I met with the owner, Mr. Eggleston, that it's renovating 141 Congamon Road with the building inspector and the fire chief. To talk about this, the old Krabby Joe's, which they're gonna do significant renovation of the property. And he, after the end of our meeting, the architect wanted to meet with me again to go over some of the restaurant plans and what what they plan to do as far as adding new units or any surfaces. They're going to be using the same space that the original equipment was in, but they're going to be putting in more modern equipment than has been the case. I expect to meet with them next week. The sign off on 11 Falmouth Road. I met for the first time at LEPC meeting downstairs,
What's that stand for?
Local Emergency Planning Committee. Charlie Dunlap is the director, emergency manager. DPH, our weekly 3 to 4 p.m. Meeting, which they talked about the continuing decline in cases across the state and how local boards of health are really the ones that are going to be empowered to go ahead with contact tracing the way they see fit, in a way that's appropriate for their communities. So they're basically leaving it up to us locals to do that. The Maven meeting was similar, pretty positive. They talked about contact tracing in certain circumstances, and they went over the new DESE and Mass Department of Public Health program to have the weekly at-home test available for students. And I've heard from the superintendent that they are in fact going to be doing that. They're going to be taking advantage of that, and they expect to be getting those shipment as soon as that they're sent out from the state. We will continue to coordinate with the nurse at the school system, as well as Valerie is going to be keeping an eye on Maven, as well as our contact tracers from the grant program from West Springfield, the host agency. I also had a meeting and have another meeting on Tuesday regarding the short-term rental subcommittee, which this is a subcommittee of the planning board. They're looking at working on possible regulations or bylaws to the short-term rentals in Southwick. We've only had one introductory meeting, and we are going to be on Tuesday's meeting, we're going to be getting a little more substantial discussions about where we see that going. The goal of it is, excuse me, go ahead.
This is Airbnb.
Oh, it's one of them. Yep. That's right. It's not just Airbnb, but anybody that rents short-term rentals, whether they're with Airbnb or not. Airbnb is just the largest one, but they're not the only one. And they don't even have to be affiliated with Airbnb to rent their place out in the past.
Do you know, Tom, if they're considering inspections by the Board of Health prior to being?
At this juncture, it's up in the air. As I said, we haven't had a meeting yet, other than an introductory meeting where we just set the agenda for the next meeting. And we're going to be, our goal is to make recommendations to the full planning board, and the planning board then does what they see fit. So we're kind of a fact finder, find out what's going on and making recommendations based upon what we see in the town and what seems to be the best for Southwick.
Would you make that recommendation that it be inspected by the Board of Health?
Well, it may be premature because we don't know if they were going to even recommend. I don't know what the recommendation is going to be.
Okay.
If the Board of Health wants to make a recommendation to me to give to them, that would be fine, but I don't know what they're planning on. We got a
It's- Okay,
diverse subcommittee of people that may have certainly difference of opinions
Okay.
on that. Contact tracing, we have reestablished connection with West Springfield and making sure that the two contact tracers that are following up on the Maven for children under 5 and over 65, because the school system nurses are now going to be making sure that they're following their cases, especially with the new program that's just been instituted through DPH and DESI. So the really young kids, we're going to be keeping an eye on and making sure there's no outbreaks and/or in the elderly, if there's any clusters of unusual spikes in positivity. And of course, that doesn't take into account the home tests, which leads me to a discussion of the COVID testing site. I sent you information. I sent you in the past regarding, I'm looking into getting the COVID testing site here. And with your approval, it would be on a Saturday, because it wouldn't interfere with the town business, as well as parking, or as well as the Council on Aging activities. It would run between 10 and 2 by appointment only. It would not be outside, though. It would be inside. I've already spoken to Carl and Dave Sutton to make sure that that area is cordoned off, and making sure that no one can go beyond certain areas. We're gonna close it off. That's the plan. And the folks from Curative would be doing their own sanitation prior to, during, and afterwards. And then I would be there to supervise and make sure that
Tom,
it's done
Tom,
properly.
I thought it was only going to be indoors if there was inclement weather.
No, the cold weather, not just inclement weather, the cold weather.
Oh, okay.
They're not doing it outdoors for that reason, because of the cold. I mean, if you wanted to wait until spring,
No,
yeah, that's kind of the problem. If we don't know what it's going to be like in spring, but that was the only option. And yeah, the first company that I spoke to also said the same thing. They weren't going to do it outside anymore. And matter of fact, even the ones that you see that are advertised are still ongoing. If they hadn't started them that way, they wouldn't be continuing to do that, according to the people I spoke to with it for their company.
how many tests could they do in a 1 hour time span?
I think they need a minimum of 200 per that day. So they can do 200. They
50
want
a
a
day.
minimum 200. And again,
I mean,
no one
15 hours.
knows how many people are gonna, take advantage of this. So I would suggest we just try it once and see what happens. And they, if they feel that it's, and we all feel it's worthwhile, then we can do it again, schedule it again.
Okay,
I have spoke to Carl, and I've let the select board be aware of it, and they are on board. The only financial issue besides, my time, let's say, is the police detail for a couple of reasons, for security as well as traffic. Because it could be, if there's a lot of traffic, even if it's a Saturday, they might have trouble exiting. So I thought it was prudent. I spoke to Lieutenant Banish about it at one of our meetings, and they would assign an officer to work outside and or inside, depending on the needs at any particular moment. So I spoke to Mr. Steinhardt, and confident that we'll get the funding to pay for them if the board wants to proceed in that direction. Any questions?
When you get more details on when it's gonna be set up, et cetera, and on, who's gonna pay for the police,
Well,
Yeah.
we would pay for it one way or the other. In other words,
the Board of
town-
Health budget?
not necessarily, no, not necessarily our budget.
Okay,
Budget's so small as it is. But the select boards, their discretionary funds,
okay.
but they are waiting for an answer. So we talked about this in the past, so I wanted to get a sense from the board if they wanted to,
I thought
Go
the
ahead with
board
this.
agreed the last time.
but
we
I had
talked about it.
more information, and what has changed was the fact that we had originally spoken about possibly doing it as a drive-through, and that's no longer an option. So we wanted to make sure, and I also wanted to make sure that the town maintenance folks were comfortable with it, the folks coming inside. And they are, especially it's going to be on a Saturday. So if the board's still in agreement, I will actually start the process of getting a contract
Um,
through Mr.
yeah. So we need a motion then now that it's
Yeah.
gonna be indoors.
Yeah, just to have, and to have Curative be the vendor for
Well,
Saturday.
basically, we need a motion to allow Tom to proceed. And then Tom's going to work through the details. So I don't think our motion has to be specific to indoors, outdoors, et cetera, and on, just for Tom to proceed with
the
contracting.
Okay, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mackenzie,
Kenzie
I'll-
Kane in favor.
Okay.
Okay, roll call vote. Jean Nilsson, yes?
Mackenzie said yes. Sue Broska, yes.
Okay.
Just proceed with the con.
Peter keeps coming in and out.
I sent the finalized budget to the finance committee, put copies in your folders. Update on the funding contract for the 6-town shared services agreement. I also have the contract which was executed on our end, the select board, Joe Didi. We had the contract from the State Department of Public Health, which I sent, as I said, I have a copy in your folders. But now it's been executed by us. It was sent back to them. We anticipate within 2 weeks that they will turn that around and have the first installment of money going to the town, Laura Fletcher's department. And our next, along with that, 189,000 is the total amount. $9,917 was carved out of that to further COVID relief efforts, including contact tracing, some purchasing of materials, which is a subset of the contract. And that was originally wasn't when that contract was originally formulated, that wasn't part of it, but they did that to all the contracts similar to that. They've carved some money out of it. So
So Tom, that 9,000, are we gonna get that in a separate payment?
that I don't know. I believe it could be, but it's got to be split between six towns.
Right,
So Tammy and the other board member, the other members of the other towns, along with myself, are going to have to hammer out the details of who's going to get what and when and how it's going to be allocated.
okay. How does the other board members feel about Tammy, asking Tammy to come to our next meeting to see how her involvement in this? Because I think Tom, just being part-time, I don't think he has the time to deal with this, but you can speak for yourself, Tom.
I agree. I think when we first talked, when Tammy was here, that last meeting that she was here, I kind of made it, given the fact that she had originally wrote the grant and was not only familiar with it, she also expressed an interest in following through with it, at least temporarily until we found my replacement. At this point, I would ask that the board, consider that she's still maintain it. I think there's probably a question about what her compensation is going to be for that, because there is a amount of money in that portion of the contract. So your idea maybe is a good one, to ask her to come to a meeting, virtual or not, to discuss maybe some of the details of her future participation in it.
How do you feel about that, Gene and McKinsey?
I feel fine about it.
Okay,
So Tom, will you invite, do you think
Tammy?
yes, is 2 weeks too far out?
No, not really, because we probably won't even, we might not have the money then. And we can also work on it. There's some things that I've asked her to work on as well, and doing an outreach to the other towns regarding that $9,917 that we can, as soon as we get, we can really plan for. The harder issue will be hiring the nurse and a full and part-time nurse. So I'm sending out to assist Tammy, I'm sending out the nursing. And I think, speaking of which, Mackenzie, did you get the copy I sent to you, the draft for the nursing?
Yes, I did.
So, please make any comments that you think would be helpful for that position, because we want to get that posted. If you think something needs to be tweaked or something, get back to me and I'll get it back to Tammy and the others, because we got to have 6 towns involved in this. We want to make sure that we kind of meet most needs of the communities that we're going to be serving, because it's not just us.
Perfect. I will have it done by our next meeting.
Okay, thanks. So Sue, to answer your question, no, I think the 2 weeks is still fine. for
Okay,
Tammy to come in. Yeah, we got time. Discussion of hiring a secretary. I put the application for part-time secretary in your folder as well, and this is a person that originally applied for a number of positions at Town Hall. So I thought it was under the aegis of the Select Board. It turns out she also wants to apply for the Board of Health position. That's why it was a little confusing, because she put a lot of descriptions of the different boards she wanted to work for. And one of them is the Board of Health. So if you folks want to continue this process, invite her in for a interview after looking at her application for the next meeting.
Could you contact her and clarify exactly what her application? Is she going for the Board of Health Secretary or for the Health Director?
Oh, that's for the board. This is for the Board of Health Secretary.
You're positive this application is for the Board of Health Secretary?
Well, which application are you talking about? I'm talking
you talk about Stephanie's?
No,
No.
Cynthia.
Cynthia Barton.
Yeah. I think she's secretary.
Yeah, I know, but see, it's not highlighted here.
I know that.
Yeah.
Right. That's
so-
that's right. That's why it was confusing, because she's applied
Right.
for a lot of positions. That's why I thought it was going to the Select Board, not to us
Oh,
directly.
okay.
No, the other one, so discussion on that?
Well, do you want to invite her in for an interview?
Yes, I would
Yes.
like to, yes.
Me too.
Did we
Okay.
get anything from the Finance Committee upping the hours for that position? Like we requested?
Not yet. They just got the budget packet. I think that's what
Okay.
they were going to be talking about at our Finance Committee meetings, when that is going to be taking place, and I think in March.
Okay,
Did Terry Mish give you any idea as to whether they'd be favorable?
To adding hours?
Yeah,
No, actually he didn't. No.
But he didn't actually come out and say it would not be.
No, he
increased.
didn't. No.
Okay.
He was kind
He
of
just didn't.
nondescript. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Um. Let's see. So the other person that did apply for the position, for the health director's position, I also sent you her application.
yes.
And
Unfortunately, there's no Title V experience, restaurant experience, housing.
There's no credentials at all that meet any of ours.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially no title, no SAS, no. I
no
mean,
bachelors.
no, and it's a lot of administrative work.
He'd be very good probably as a manager. Well, it's early yet.
Yeah, that was my opinion is that there was not a lot of qualifications on that application. I mean, could be a lot of training that can be done, but you know, there's nothing.
Yep. I disagree with you.
Well, what do you think, Tom? What's your opinion?
I agree with you.
Okay.
I mean,
Have we gotten any other applicants
No.
at all?
no.
What about that applicant that previously applied from Connecticut?
He got a job
Oh,
in Westfield
oh,
as the assistant, as a sanitarian there.
oh,
Unfortunately, yeah, she's there.
good for her.
Yep, good for her. Yep. So, would you like me to contact her or write a letter? Or I should probably do that anyway. to,
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Just that we're, I wonder, did Jessica have a boilerplate type of, response that we received your application?
I don't know, Jessica's off.
Yeah. Was it emailed to you, Tom?
Yes.
Should we email her back? Yeah, we're receipt of her application. Do we want to say anything about reviewing it, or do you want to say something about lacking the qualifications needed, or how do you want to handle it?
I think maybe we should just send her a generic email saying, thank you for taking the time to apply. At this time, we are pursuing other candidates. That's it. I don't think we should say anything about credentials or anything. That's discriminatory, you know.
I think that's a very good idea. What do you think, Jean?
That's nice, but I don't want to give the woman false hopes either.
Well, we are saying we're pursuing other candidates.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay,
Do you want to write
What if
that
I-
down?
How about if I put something together? I'll
Okay.
put something together and shoot it out. And just how you feel, then we'll, and I'll first let her know that we received the application, because I just received it actually, as well. This is pretty quick. And then I will look at I'll write a short letter, draft one, send it out. Send it out to you folks first,
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
okay? That's it.
wait a minute, you did this one? Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yeah,
sorry.
I did.
I
That was
missed
it.
that.
For the
There
senior,
was-
Oh, yeah.
the senior community employment, do you want me to pursue that? I just have to get the complete application.
Yeah, Sue, I did actually mention that. I did send an email to Joe Angelotti, and he hasn't responded to me yet. He only works part-time as well. So,
Okay,
but I'm sure I can get that, the complete packet, but you probably got a lot of it, but there's probably a few pages that you haven't gotten it for whatever reason.
Yeah,
So
looks like
anyway,
I didn't get the things that we have to fill out and return to them.
Okay, I thought he sent me everything, and I thought I sent you the same thing he sent me. But anyway, I asked him to resend it,
Okay,
and as soon as I get it, I'll get it to you.
all right.
Okay,
Anything else?
can I just go back to one thing? I turned the page
Absolutely.
here, and Mr. Fitzgerald, can you tell me about these two establishments? I didn't realize that they were on the food permit. Are they still open?
Hilltop Cafe did not submit any certificates with their application, and the Franklin House did not submit any application
For the past 2
for the past 2
years?
years.
Are they still open?
I don't know.
Can you
I just
check
got
on-
yeah, I sure will. Yeah, I
check on
just got
both
this.
of those?
Yes, I will.
Okay,
I certainly will.
so, because I'm keeping this. So you can,
Yeah.
you can write this,
Franklin.
Franklin
yeah.
House and Hilltop Cafe. Okay? So if you wouldn't mind checking on those. I apologize for my text messaging going off, but Southwick schools are closed
Oh.
for tomorrow.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
I'm heartbroken.
Oh. Is Peter still on? Andrew, any questions?
Peter and Andrew, yep.
No questions at this time.
Okay. Andrew? No questions, okay.
Okay.
Is there anything else that we need to discuss that we have missed?
I don't
think
think
so.
so. Mackenzie, you got anything you want to mention?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Tom, I'll be around Wednesday and Thursday if you need any help with anything.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, well then I'll make a motion to adjourn
No.
at,
Well, but the next meeting, then are we gonna aim for 6 o'clock?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
I'm sorry about
o'clock.
this one.
It's okay.
yeah.
6 o'clock. It is.
Okay, so February, today is what, the 3rd, so. What's that come out to be?
The 17th.
17th.
17th, okay. Okay, go ahead and make a motion, Jean.
Are you sure?
I don't know, I might interrupt again.
Are you gonna interrupt, Sue?
I might, I'm good at that.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:48.
Second,
Mackenzie Kane, yes, in favor.
Sue,
Okay,
yes.
roll call vote. Jean Nielsen, yes.
Okay, Mackenzie, yes. Sue said yes.